This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, 4 new police officers are ready to protect and serve in the city of Hazleton. We have that story and much more next. Good evening and thank you for joining us at FYI. I'm Ken Carr and we appreciate you watching on SSPTV and SSPTV.com. As always, we start with headlines from FYI and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. 4 new officers were sworn in today as members of the Hazleton Police Force. However, even with this latest group, Chief Frank DeAndrew says it's still not enough.
Being able to add 4 new police officers to the patrol section is huge. As you're well aware, the police department continues its war on crime, and we are critically below appropriate staffing levels. These 4 officers bring the department back to 36. It brings the patrol section up to 19 officers. 19 officers for 3 shifts, 7 days a week, is far from adequate. And so, although we're incredibly happy, elated to have 4 new officers to go into the patrol section, it'll be 4 to 5 months before they're trained and out on their own. The delay was in simply getting their paperwork through the state to get them to be legally allowed to go out on the road as police. Now that they're going out on the road, they will be properly trained to be a police officer in the city of Hazleton. But this infusion brings the police department back up to 36 officers, well below the 40 or 42 officers we had in 2011 and the 40 officers we had in 2007.
Why did you want to be a Hazleton police officer?
I wanted to be a police officer here because the city has a lot of great experience. There's no other place in this county that can provide the wealth of knowledge that this department can, and I want to try to be the best police officer that the state can provide.
I wanted to become a Hazleton police officer because I knew the challenges that would be coming of being a police officer here. It's very busy, very hard work, but I know that it pushes you to your limits, but I just definitely want to push myself farther and farther and gain the experience that I would here.
Well, this is my home. This is where I live. There's no other place I'd rather enforce the laws than my own home.
Because the city needs help, and I can absolutely help. I am here to give it my all.
At the end of the day, I look forward to watching these 4 new officers' careers unfold and flower with the community. And I'd like to take this opportunity to express to anyone in or around your listening area or beyond, if you desire a challenging career in law enforcement, I would request and suggest that you go onto the city's website at www.hazletoncity.org. You obtain an application, you fill it out, and you submit it. This is one of the most rewarding careers that you will find in law enforcement because every day is truly a challenge within the city of Hazleton.
Now, meanwhile, Mayor Joe Yannuzzi is not giving up his fight to add 10 more cops to the city's ranks. The mayor is not pleased that a referendum question that would have asked residents if they favored a police task will not appear on the November ballot. Today, the mayor told FYI that he plans to ask council for more officers soon.
We don't need a question on the ballot. All we need is 3 votes from council and it can be done. And that's what I'm going to ask for. Please hire 10 more police officers. I will give them all the forms that they need as city council, and all they have to do is approve it.
Will you be doing that anytime soon?
Well, it'll be on the new budget. New budget will be submitted November 1st, and that's when I'll be asking them for 10 more officers.
That was Hazleton Mayor Joe Yannuzzi. And history was made this morning as Pope Francis became the first pontiff ever to address the United States Congress. And while they couldn't be there in person, 2nd grade students at Holy Family Academy in Hazleton were with the Pope in spirit.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of death. Amen.
Even though most of us will not have the opportunity to go to Philadelphia, this week we walked with Francis around the school so that we could walk with Francis in spirit. We said a rosary because one of the things that Pope Francis is known for is to put our faith into action, and that prayer is the most powerful thing that we can do. We said a rosary, we walked around the school, and for each decade of the rosary, we invoked a prayer for the needy, the sick, those who have died, our leaders. To make our country great, we need to pray together as a family. We can't be afraid to live our faith. We can't be afraid to show people that we love to pray.
And knowing that we're born to eternal life.
And one man from our area had an excellent view of Pope Francis' arrival at the White House yesterday. Brian Williams is a court administrator for Lackawanna County Court Judge James Gibbons. He's also a youth ministry consultant who previously worked at youth ministries at St. John Bosco Church in Cunningham and Good Shepherd Church in Drums. One of his former students who now works at the White House surprised Williams with a ticket to yesterday's events. Lisa Sugar talked with Brian via phone from our nation's capital yesterday afternoon.
I was 150 feet from the White House, but I've never been, here invited. There were 15,000 people that were invited to be on the South Lawn, and I was, like I said, 100 to 150 feet from the Pope and the President. I was just trying to take that in, but I really do need to go back tonight and watch the video of what they said, because I was just so overwhelmed with excitement and joy to be there and to be a part of this official ceremony. It was pretty exciting. Yeah.
One final question to you, knowing how strong your faith is in that, what do you think this means to the United States, to all Americans, in wake of what is happening in our world today?
Well, you know what, I think Pope Francis sets an example for all of us to not only talk about doing good things and not only talk about helping the poor, but actually do and to be. So, I love his example, and so many people can speak great words and say wonderful things, and it sounds, really great, but not only does he speak wonderful, but he also acts the words that he speaks. So he lives his words.
Brian was also interviewed by one of the national media outlets, and we thank him for sharing his story and photos with FYI. Well, coming up next, your local weather forecast, and Janine Mazurkevich has even more information about the 2015 Bloomsburg Fair. And later in sports, the local Lions soccer team puts an exclamation point on Penn State Hazleton Week.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
We're here at the Bloomsburg Fair on the grounds, and we are highlighting all the good things happening this year for the 160th anniversary of the Bloomsburg Fair. There's a lot of work that goes on prior to the week of fair time. A lot of that is behind the scenes, and Randy happens to take care of some of those things. So Randy, thanks for joining us, and we want to highlight everything that happens here on the fairground.
Oh, a lot of it you don't even see. The electrician and all the electrical that takes for run the fair, and the water lines and the sewer lines, and and then not using them throughout the year. Then when you go to use them, you need to work with them a little bit. You have blowouts, and today we're paving. We have some paving going on. We got to go around and inspect all the blacktop for trip hazards, and anywhere there's a trip hazard, then we need to get rid of it. We got to fix it, because when you get that many people around, you gotta be prepared for it.
Yes, everyone I'm interviewing, it's the people first. We are concerned about their safety, yes, about them having fun and enjoying everything there is to offer here at the Bloomsburg Fair.
Yes, safety's number one, and you do your best, but you always miss something, or try not to, but we do miss something once in a while. But our goal is safety and making sure all the people are safe and healthy.
How long have you been working here?
This will be I believe my 8th year. This is my 8th year here at the fair.
And what do you like so much about it?
I don't know. It was in my blood. I just always have loved the fair. It's just something I've always been into.
Are you from Bloomsburg?
North of here, about 18 miles, Benton, a small town of Benton, but yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My parents have been, they were vendors here as a child, so I've been on the fairgrounds ever since the year I was born.
Fair is very important to those vendors. Please come out and support them. This is it might be their biggest revenue of the year.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. This has to get us through the whole year, and it doesn't only support us as the fair. It supports all the community, the town, the gas stations, the hotels, the motels for miles around here benefit from the fair when it's here. It's a whole. It brings to counties surrounding.
Okay. So what buildings are you in charge of?
The education building, the 4-H and FFA, and the Home X and things like that, and then the dog show, which Bloomsburg Fair has the oldest dog show in the United States, and also the poultry and rabbits.
So you're busy.
Yeah. It's Fair Week's busy, and leading up to it and after is busy. Yes.
Some changes this year?
Yeah, a little bit. A negative change, and we don't like to hear. Sad to say that there won't be any poultry here due to the avian flu that's crossing the United States, and it's just a protection for everybody not to have them, because the more you congregate the animals, the more the disease will spread and get worse.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you during the Bloomsburg Fair. Good job to you and all of the staff here who are behind the scenes making this possible each and every year. Again, the 160th year of the Bloomsburg Fair.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
Honestly, we've been spoiled with all this good weather, and it looks like the good times will keep on rolling. Here's our local weather forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight will be mostly clear, our low 52 degrees with an east wind around 6 miles per hour. Extended forecast, our Friday looks mostly sunny with a high near 70, and then at night for football, might want to bring a blanket out to Harmon Guy Stadium or wherever you're going. Partly cloudy with a low around 51. Saturday will be partly sunny with a high near 68 degrees as the Bloomsburg Fair kicks off. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 50 degrees. On Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 67. Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 52. And then on Monday, partly sunny with a high near 70. And Monday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 54 degrees. We have more numbers for you now. Your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers: pick 202, pick 3081, pick 49793, and pick 539987. And lottery numbers on FYI are brought to you by Boyer Insurance Agency, with 2 locations to serve you, one in Cunningham on Sugarloaf Avenue, the other one in Nescopec on Broad Street. You can call Boyer Insurance in Cunningham at 570-788-3543 and in Nescopec at 570-752-7683. We'll wrap up Penn State Hazelton Week. Watch the soccer team's 5 goals. They had an incredible game, but right now it's time for Law Talk.
Hello again and welcome to Law Talk. Today we're going to talk about auto coverage. It's a topic that's on everybody's mind virtually all the time, and one of the things that I think you should know and very important to you is, when you get full coverage from your auto insurance agent, is it really good coverage? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Alexis recently had an experience with a client that came in and asked about that, so we'll let her talk to you about full coverage versus good coverage.
Thank you. Full coverage by Pennsylvania law isn't necessarily good coverage that you might have. When you're looking to purchase car insurance, some of the things you want to consider would be whether or not there is a wage loss benefit as that part of your insurance. Pennsylvania law does not require you to have that. Something else to consider would be the medical coverage that you might have applicable. If you're involved in an accident, your insurance company will pay for any accident-related medical treatment that you receive. However, they'll pay only up to a point as to what your coverage has. For example, in Pennsylvania, the minimum coverage that you have is $5,000. And if you're significantly injured and you have no health insurance, then you're very limited as far as the type of treatment that you may have based on the fact that you have minimal medical coverage. But under Pennsylvania law, this would be considered full coverage. It's not necessarily good coverage. Something else you want to consider is uninsured or underinsurance coverage. That is also not mandated by Pennsylvania law. However, you want to consider purchasing that as part of your coverage because you have people who are driving that might not be insured. They might cause an accident, and if you have no uninsurance coverage, then you have no recourse. You have no type of action that you can take to get any type of recovery. Similar to that would be underinsurance. If you're hit by a driver and they're responsible for causing the accident, if they have minimal coverage, which in Pennsylvania it's only $15,000, you're entitled to recover that. But if your injuries and your claim is worth in excess of that $15,000, you're in a tough position, because if you don't have underinsurance, there's no other type of recourse for you. There's no claim that you can make with your own insurance carrier. So you want to be mindful of that when selecting insurance coverage.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
After losing their first conference game of the season over the weekend to Penn State Beaver, Penn State Hazelton bounced back in a big way. Penn State Hazelton Week continues on FYI with this in-depth look at the local Lions soccer team's 5-0 win over Penn State Wilkes-Barre on Wednesday. Check out this movement and vision from the Penn State Hazelton soccer team. Zachary Klinger wins the ball back, sends it to Stephen Principe, who finds Kyle Venditti. No, they didn't score on this play, but don't worry, the goals would come thanks to some great passing and ruthless finishing. On the first goal, Ryan Johnson found Venditti, who did some dancing, and then he crossed it to Ben Pasakinis, who hit it home. The next 4 goals came in the second half as Venditti picked up his second assist of the game on this play to Principe. Venditti had a great night. To go along with those 2 assists, he scored goals number 4 and 5 for the local Lions. Then there was this goal. If I hit a lob pass like this on FIFA on Xbox, I'd be dancing around my living room for 15 minutes. Pasakinis had this real-life beautiful pass, and he called the moves Joe Torres pulled off before scoring magic. It was a magical night for the Lions, but there were no tricks involved, just a change in tactics from playing with 2 forwards at the top to 1 in a 3-5-1 formation.
Well, we changed the formation up. The 2 strikers didn't seem to be working in the last game, so we went with 1, put some mids back, and it was really possession. It was combining in the middle possession, trying to get the through balls and trying to get some crosses in, and the first goal was a cross, so, I mean, we did what we wanted to do.
Kyle, the quality of passing on this team, I mean, was this something that was developed, or did you guys always click like this, or is it just the talent that you guys have?
A lot of it's the talent that we have. We have a lot of good kids from all over the area. Today we kind of switched up our lineup a little bit and worked in our benefit, able to move the ball around a lot better.
How did you find the space tonight? I mean, were they just giving you that space? Did you earn it?
A lot of it is keeping your head up. I mean, everybody on the team was moving the ball around, keeping their head up, looking, calling for the ball, checking to the ball. It's just a lot of movement and teamwork.
They seem like they've been playing with each other for years.
Well, some of them have. I mean, I focused a lot on recruiting locally here. So, if we can get a couple kids from each school to come in, they kind of have a sense of how each other plays, and that makes us a little more successful right off the bat. And, we try to mold them into our system because everybody comes from something different. And we're finally seeing the fruits of our labor.
Venditti and Klinger, who had a hand in Hazelton's first goal, are both from Berwick. Pasakinis and defender Tyler Wiley are both from Benton. While the 2 didn't combine on a goal, Wiley did have a big hand in helping Hazelton keep a clean sheet.
Our defense is headed up by Tyler Wiley. He's a freshman out of Benton, and he really kind of takes control back there. If you notice, he's very verbal. He's really loud, and that kind of helps set the tone of our communication and our organization. So he's kind of the leader of our defense there.
What a night for the Penn State Hazelburg soccer team. You heard that right, Hazelburg. That's what the team shouts before they take the field.
Hazelburg comes from a couple of years ago when Coach was coaching before he took a year off. They went to the championship game, and the other team didn't even know the name. They thought it was Hazelburg, and so ever since then they took it as a compliment. This little town going big, doing big things like going to the championship and stuff, so we've just stuck onto it.
If they stick to playing like this, everyone in the Penn State University Athletic Conference will know the name Hazelton. I did the math. I said Penn State was in a 3-5-1 formation. They had to be in a 4-5-1 or they didn't have enough players on the field. My bad. Inside the Dr. Thomas M. Cassis Gymnasium, the Penn State Hazelton women's volleyball team pushed their match with Penn State Wilkes-Barre to 4 sets, but they lost 3-1. Wilkes-Barre won the first, third, and fourth sets 25-17, 25-15, and 25-13. The local Lions won the second set 25-21. Tina Beelan had 6 kills and 5 aces. There's one of her aces right there. Haley Tresacco put this one away for Hazelton. Tresacco finished with 14 digs on the night. And this set right here, this is Cheyenne Comfort. She had the finesse shot for the point for the local Lions. Penn State Hazelton is back at it on Thursday night at Davis College in New York State. Well, I had fun with Penn State Hazleton Week. I hope you did too, but don't be sad that it's over. Here is our FYI standard speaker scoreboard to cheer you up. In high school boys soccer, Blue Mountain shut out Tamaqua. Hazleton area's girls tennis team is still unbeaten in the Wyoming Valley Conference as they beat Pittston area MMI. They swept by Dallas in the Wyoming Valley Conference. Here are some cross-country scores now from the Schuylkill League. The North Schuylkill boys, they beat Tamaqua and Pine Grove. The Raiders salvaged a win over Pine Grove. Marion swept their meet with Weatherly and Shenandoah Valley. At the girls' meets, Tamaqua earned 2 wins while North Schuylkill beat Pine Grove. Marion also got a sweep in the girls' meet, winning 2 close meets. The Lady Devils, they beat Weatherly. The Marion Colts lost in golf in a huge Schuylkill League Division II showdown with Lourdes Regional. Both teams are now 9-1 in the league. Marion beat Lourdes earlier this year. Hazleton area, they dropped 2 contests recently. One to Monoy area, that was in a non-league match. This is in girls volleyball. Tamaqua, they beat Lourdes Regional in a Schuylkill League girls volleyball matchup. The Cubs, they lost and the Pirates won on Wednesday. So now Chicago is 3 games behind the Bucks in the race for the #1 National League wildcard spot. That's sports. Thursday is $1 burger night at Bottlenecks. Get a juicy 4th pound burger for only $1 all night long.
Hey everyone, here's tonight's Talk of the Town. If you suffer from chronic and debilitating hip pain, join Coordinated Health's orthopedic surgeon Anthony Falvello, MD, as he discusses the benefits to the anterior approach to hip replacements. This will be held Saturday, September 26th at noon at the Coordinated Health Hazleton campus in the Churchill Mall. For more information and to RSVP, call 1-877-247-8080 extension 36560. And finally tonight, there'll be a Chinese auction at the Butler Township Senior Center, Sunday, October 4th. Doors open at 1 p.m. with the auction starting at 3 p.m. With over 125 baskets, a money tree, door prizes, and food available. Hope to see you there. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. FYI News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. John Bart Flame of West Hazleton. Viewing will be held Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Firo Funeral Home. The funeral will be held Saturday at 9:30 a.m. from the funeral home, with a Mass at 10 a.m. at Holy Rosary Church. Interment will follow at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Cemetery. Peter N. Casadas of Hazleton. Funeral will be held Monday at 10:30 a.m. at the Joseph A. Moran Funeral Home, with a Mass of Christian burial at 11 a.m. at Most Precious Blood Church. Burial will be held at the MPB Cemetery. Friends may call Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. And Anthony Tony Farnell. A service for the family will be held at the Firo Funeral Home Friday at 9:30 to 10:30 a.m.
So you might be saying, why did Penn State Hazleton Week end on Thursday? There's still another day to go, another sportscast. Well, we get back to our Football Friday features tomorrow, and tomorrow we're featuring Shenandoah Valley, so get ready for that one. Plus, we'll have your full football schedule and much, much more right here on FYI. We'll see you then. Take it easy, everyone.